Viva Decor's embossing cream can turn an ordinary piece of chipboard into a metal wonderland. Just apply the embossing cream to the chipboard die cut, leaving the surface bumpy and some of the chipboard showing. Clean as much as you can off the edges and return it to your jar, but a little embossing cream around the edges is not going to hurt anything. The chipboard that you use doesn't even have to be a great quality. You can use the back of a scrapbook paper slab, a cereal box, a cracker box, anything like that works great. And besides, recycling is good for the earth. Now, I've seen this technique or a variation of it from several sources, including Tim Holtz, whose Gadget Gears die we're using for this demonstration. But I love the way the embossing cream, rather than an embossing powder, adds a beautiful crushed metal effect, and it's also not quite as messy. When you get the cream on there, you want to leave a little bit of that chipboard showing, and then you want to take any of that has fallen through, get it off the bottom and everything, and return it to your jar. You can see where I've left some openings, some chipboard openings on this, and that's going to come into play later in the demonstration. Now you're going to want to heat this die cut with a heat tool, and the embossing cream will begin to puff up, but be sure you keep your heat tool moving in circular motion so you don't wind up with burn spots on your chipboard. When it finishes puffing up, because it's going to get really puffy, you can take your applicator and depress some of the areas, and it's going to give you even more texture when this thing is finished. Now this piece can be used as is, or you can add a little bit of color, which I like to do. And now it's going to be very hot too at this point, so be careful and don't burn your hands. I have another one that's already cool, so we're going to be putting the Paper Soft color on this, which is also by Viva Decor. The color I'm using is Walnut, and this is my favorite new color. I had a favorite brown that I've always used for antiquing things, but this one I just love. And one thing that's really neat about it is the applicator. You just stick it in a plastic bag, and you don't even have to take the jar out again for a long time, because it stays in the applicator and it stays moist if you keep it sealed. Anyway, you just sponge on a little Walnut Paper Soft color, and then you can add another color if you like, and I'm going to use Graphite, which is a very strong black. You don't need a lot of this color, because you can see how it's hitting just those little gear edges. But it gives you a nice effect, and then you have the brown and the black in there. You wind up with a piece of chipboard that looks as though it had been laying in the street for 50 years, run over by every auto imaginable, and it's perfect for a steampunk look. With Viva Decor embossing cream, a cereal box in your imagination, the sky's the limit.